All right, guys, it's time for part 2 of our unboxing, spectacular as it were. We have had a chance to open the packs, see what comes in the packs, and now we're going to go piece by piece with what we did pull and some of what we got in pre-releases and trades in the early days in order to show you guys what's up in the set and what we think is going to be good to go for competitive play, good to go for casual play, and what's going to be awesome and sealed as we look piece by piece through what we got for Black Panther, Avengers, Black Panther, and the Illuminati. A special thank you goes out again to WizKids for providing us with a brick of Black Panther and the Illuminati. It's an awesome set so far, and we look forward to showing you what we got in that brick, along with a few other surprises that we got in our pre-release tournament over at the Comic Book Warehouse. All right, so away we go, starting with figure number 001, Iron Man. He's got the Avengers, Illuminati, Shield, Stark Industries, Armor, and Scientist keywords. He's got special movement and power, late in his dial, stabilizing repulsor failure. It gives him earthbound, neutralized, and sidestep. In addition to which, he's got a special defense power, self-repairing systems online, which gives him regeneration, toughness. When Iron Man uses regeneration after resolution, he's going to make an attack. So we're looking at a 90-point figure with Indomitable Flying, 6 range, 2 targets, the Avengers team ability. This is a pretty good sealed pull. If a lot of your pack isn't looking too beefy, Iron Man can definitely make up for that. And the end of the dial, because of the regeneration and how it works, you'll be able to make an attack after regenerating. And if you get a really good regeneration, you're looking at a Psychic Blast attack. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with this figure. Good casual, good sealed for sure. Not sure about competitive play though. All right, next up, figure number 2, Captain Marvel Avengers. Kree, Cosmic, and Soldier. She's got the bearer of the reality gem. Captain Marvel starts the game with the reality gem equipped. She doesn't come packaged with it, but we'll talk about the reality gem when we get to the figure that does come packaged with it. And for 45 points, you get this meaty little dial. It's for 45 points, you can't complain. This is probably only going to see a lot of play in sealed. Constructed, not so much. It might fill out a decent Avengers or Kree team for your casual play games. All right. Next up, figure number 3, Elektra Hydra, the Hand, Assassin Martial Artist. She's got shifting focus. Elektra lives again, free. If Elektra began your turn on the map, replace her with another character with this trait. Unfortunately, we didn't pull the other Elektra, so we're not going to be able to get a look at her, but she is traded with Stealth, and when she KOs an opposing character after resolutions, you can heal, roll a d6, and heal Elektra half the results. So if you can pop some KOs, she kind of stays alive. 75 points for a 6-click dial. It's a very close combat focus, but you got to remember this is also stealth across the board. It's a shame she doesn't ignore hindering for movement, otherwise she'd be just way off the board awesome. But still pretty good in sealed. If you can pull the other one too, she might be super flexible. I'm not sure what the other one looks like myself, but good sealed or casual play for sure. All right, next up we have the Dora. Whoops, excuse me. Oh, geez, I'm all over the place here. All right, Dora Milaje. Wakandan and Warrior keywords. You're going to see this trait in a couple places. The Wakanda Forever. When Dora Milaje is KO'd, immediately after resolutions, heal a friendly character 1 click. If that friendly character has a Wakanda keyword, also modify their damage, attack and damage +1 until your next turn. She also has this We Live to Protect the King trait. Friendly characters with both the Wakanda and Ruler keywords can use Mastermind, but only to choose Dora Milaje. She also has Willpower, but only if a friendly character with both Wakanda and Ruler keyword is on the map. It's a neat little character to play in your casual Wakandan teams. Not going to make competitive marks, but sealed, there's a lot of Wakandans in the set, and I think she'll really help if you have enough of them to make use of. All right, next up, we have the AIM Red Squad. AIM, Avengers, Hydra, and Soldier keywords. He's got Security and Tactics Division, which is his trait. At the beginning of the game, for all characters with this trait, choose Empower or Enhancement, and they can use the chosen power of this game. If they are part of a named theme team, you can choose both. Enhancement and Empower on an Avengers, AIM, or Hydra theme team. Ooh, that's pretty potent. For 20 points with 3 clicks, it's nothing to complain about, nothing to worry about. I'd say it's pretty awesome, all things considered. So yeah, this could have a place in some competitive teams. It's going to be a definite sealed play because both powers are really good. Sorry, not a definite, but it's not a bad option at 20 points. And casual, I mean, geez, AIM guys are just so fun to play. All right, next up, we have the Dora Milaje Midnight Angel. Got the Wakanda Forever trait, which is the same as the Dora Milajes. Other Dora Milajes, rather. It's got a special attack power, Wakandan Strike Team, unique modifier, Dora Milaje Midnight Angel, and adjacent friendly characters modified attack +1 if they are closer to an opponent's starting area than their own. That's actually a really good effect if you look at that. It's a 30-point character that doesn't have a lot going for it as far as defensively, but if you can get the Dora Milaje up there with some dudes, or dudettes in that case, it could be really, really potent and strong for your sealed play for sure, casual play as well. Next up, Wakandan Scientist. I do have to point out that this should be Wakandan IT, because if you look at the perplex, it says, did you try turning it off and on again? Wakandan Scientist keywords, special damage power. We will start work right away, my king. Empower, but also affects other friendly characters with the Wakanda keyword within 3 squares. So it's a pretty good empower for your sealed play for sure. 15 points. It's almost a bargain, almost worth having for sure. And making your Wakandans hit harder is a good thing, because the Wakandans, as I said, do hit pretty hard in my sealed experiences. Speaking of hard hitting Wakandans, Nakia, she's a surprising one in sealed. She's got Ultra Resurrection +5 points. When Nakia would be KO'd, you may instead replace her with a figure number 25 Malice, we'll look at later. If you do, after resolutions, roll a d6 and heal that Malice equal to half the result. You put it on click 5, which I believe is probably like the last click or pretty close to. The Wakanda Forever trait, and then it's just a pretty solid 45-point dial with Perplex to start and Stealth. So it starts off as a stealthing Perplexer, then turns into a running shot with 3 damage, only 3 range, but still running shot, 3 damage in the stage of the game where she's on her second click, is pretty potent. And she's only 45 points, 50 if you have Malice. I included her on my SEAL team, and she did a lot of really good stuff, especially when it comes to perplexing stats up, because Perplex and Prob are way more valuable in sealed. Next up, we have Black Panther with the Wakanda and Police keyword. This one's real name Kevin Cole, so this is not T'Challa. +5 points, granted the mantle of the White Tiger, who we do see later on. When Black Panther would be KO'd, you may instead replace him with White Tiger on click 5. Same thing as Malice, you heal up some extra clicks. Ignores elevated and hindering for movement, and that goes well with his stealth and perplex for 45 points. I almost think this is more approvable than the Nakia, mostly because of the fact that you get that PD team ability to help out in a stealth environment, or stealth in this environment. For the sealed play, for sure, this guy really kind of sticks out and is pretty awesome. Yeah. All right, next up we have the Shield Diplomat. Shield and politician keywords, and he's got special damage power. See, we all benefit here. Perplex, but only to target friendly characters. When Shield Diplomat uses it, you must also choose an opposing character to modify the same combat value by +1 until your next turn. Now, this one's a little bit of a tricky marker. You have to, it rewards intelligent play. He has it on all 3 clicks. He also comes with 18 defense with defend and the shield team ability. Now, what's important about this guy is you use that perplex when you're making an attack on a guy you're pretty sure is going to die, or you use it on a very defensive turn. Sometimes you'll have a turn where not many of your guys are going to attack, and you really want the extra defense. So if you give your opponent some extra defense if you don't plan on attacking, it's not a big deal, because they take their turn and it comes back to your turn and doesn't matter because the defense resets. So for 20 points, it's actually a pretty good sealed pick. And, he's got the passive always adding to your range and potentially adding to your damage. Plus an 18 defense with defend and sealed play goes for miles. All right, next up. Ant-Man. Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Spy keywords. Ignores characters for movement. I had to. They have my daughter is his trait. His trait is shape change. Once per force, when Ant-Man is KO, do not remove him from the game. Instead, after resolutions, place him in his square he last occupied. On his starting click, he's now friendly to your opponent's force. Okay. So you... and he's got special damage power. Here, if you hold on to this disc, it's free. Here, if you hold on to this disc, Free, choose an adjacent friendly standard character to gain tiny until your next turn. Now, this is a 5-click 30-point character, and that is kind of to alleviate the fact that he will swap to your opponent's team if he does get hit. But the 17 defense on tiny, if you put him in some hindering terrain, he's hard to get a beat on. Traded shape change makes him a little tricky to continuously hit. And keeping a hold of him with his ignore characters for movement goes for miles. All right, next up, Crystal. Avengers and Inhumans keywords. Geokinesis is the trait. Quake as free. That's all there is to it, and that's enough. Because that's traded, I want to point out. Pull the moisture right out of the air. Smoke cloud, but may generate all water terrain markers instead of hindering terrain. -1 to attack still applies. Thanks for clarifying that, because we had that issue with, what's his name? Garth. Tempest, that's his name. 50-point top. Okay, there's a team that exists in this set that Crystal could be an important part of. We're going to talk about her later, but I do not want to poo-poo this character while the existence and idea of that other team I'm considering exists. So I'm going to say there's a window of opportunity in sealed play, or in casual play for sure. Fantastic sealed play, really good casual addition to your kitchen table games. Okay, next up, Black Widow. Avengers, Champions, Marvel Knight, Shield, Thunderbolts, Cosmic, Martial Artist, and Spy keywords. She's got a +5 points, bearer of the Space Gem, so you can give her the Space Gem. Again, we'll talk about it later. There's another figure that actually comes packaged with it. 35 points, gets you 3 clicks with Perplex, Wild Card, and Avengers team abilities, 4 range and 2 targets. This is just one of those like sealed must-haves. And she's also, I mean, she's reasonably good for sealed. Casual, I would say there might be a competitive, but I think the prime alternative, which we don't have, might be better for competitive play than this character is. But overall, not a bad 35-point character at all. Whoops. Sorry about the zoom there, guys. Let me just get that right back in there. Okay. All right, so next up, we have figure number 14, the Hulk, with Avengers, Brute, Monster, and Scientist keywords. Ignores blocking terrain and breaks through it from movement. Weakened by Rage is his trait. When Hulk takes damage from an attack, after resolutions, give him a Rage token. Modify Hulk's combat values by -X, where X is the number of Rage tokens at the end of your turn. Remove all Rage tokens and heal Hulk that many clicks. And then he's got the anti-armor cannon. Penetrating Psychic Blast with range value 6. I think he gets that at the end of his time. Anyway, he's got Indomitable and a beefy 125-point dial for a This is what you want in sealed. This is for sealed play. This is what you want in a common, and that is a thing of marvelous beauty. So yeah, for sure. You want this guy in sealed. There's some casual application to him as well, and competitive play, I don't think you're going to see him as much, but ultimately, just really a good Hulk, right? So, all right. Next up, Winter Soldier. Hydra, Invaders, Assassin, Soldier, Spy. Reprogramming is his trait. Adjacent opposing characters can use mind control, but only to target Winter Soldier. When they do, if their attack roll is 10 or higher, and they hit after resolutions, Winter Soldier is now friendly to that opponent's force. It's a good thing. This dial is really good for a 45-point character. Otherwise, I would want to throw this across a wall. And this is something you generally will only ever play in sealed, but is still really good in that environment. Just because of the point value. A lot of people might try to do that mind control, but then they're exposing themselves to those stats. All right, next up, Voyager. This is figure number 17. Avengers, Elders of the Universe, and Cosmic keywords. I sense a greater challenge is her first trait. At the beginning of the game, if an opponent's force includes an additional game element, heal Voyager 1 click past your starting line to click 0. Current additional game elements are ID cards, equipment, special terrain, and locations. So in competitive play, all the time. Second trait, Avengers Assemble. She's got Passenger 1, Passenger 3, but only to carry characters that share a keyword with her and may carry characters with Flight or Giant as well. She's got a special attack symbol, straining my powers of teleportation. Telekinesis, but only to place characters when Voyager uses it, neither she nor the target's character's square need line of fire to the destination square. This is a super utility character for an Avengers team that will very likely see some level of competitive play because she's a support character that is immune to outwit because she's power cosmic, has the Avengers team ability, which means when you're carrying, she's actually got a 15 movement, which is, you know, you're carrying 3 dudes, so that's actually a 12 movement, but still awesome. And yeah, like even if they don't somehow have this equipment stuff, she's got perplex. She's either got outwit or perplex. This is just gonna see some play. This is a really good common slot, guys. I love this set. Holy smokes! All right, next up, oh geez, my focus is all over the place. Sorry, guys. Iron Man, Avengers, Stark Industries, armor, robot, and scientist. Keyword: I am Tony Stark. Well, his essence, leadership, but may choose a friendly character within range and line of fire if they share a keyword. Emergency backup copy. When Iron Man is KO'd, you may place figure number 18, Iron Man, from your sideline in your starting area. On click number 1 and roll d6, deal unavoidable damage to that character equal to half the result. Protected pulse wave. Each one KO'd is scored. That's a dangerous effect, but this is a good character in general. 50 points without wit and perplex to flip-flop through, 6 range. It's one of those unassuming, like, 4th string attackers, so it's not going to be bad in sealed. It's not going to be great in any other formats, really. But I do like the idea of taking that risk and possibly putting him on that last click every time you lose one of these guys. How many, and because it's pulling from the sideline, you are limited in competitive play on how you're going to use him, which is probably why you're not going to see him show up. We're using our sidelines for ID cards. All right, next up, Captain Marvel. Dark Avengers, Massive Evil, Thunderbolts, Celebrity, and Scientist. Keywords: Justice Like Lightning trait. When Captain Marvel damages one or more opposing characters with an attack, after resolutions, roll d6. On a 5 or 6, remove an action token from a friendly character with the Thunderbolts keyword within 4 squares. Well, she's going to be friendly to herself, and she is within 4 squares of herself, so at least there's that. And because it's after actions resolve, you'll still have the action token before you resolve this effect, because action tokens are added immediately on resolutions, so at least she's got her. And there's some other Thunderbolts in the set. They don't necessarily have to have the Thunderbolts keyword. I'm looking at you, Kovac, in the chase slot. Next, she's got Intangible Form, Phasing Teleport, Sidestep. When Captain Marvel makes a close attack, walls don't prevent adjacency to her target. That is a unique situation that I wish I had the map that I was using had some kind of example of it. But basically, if this character is here, let's say, and the card is the wall here, which would be on the line, and there's, let's say, this Shield Diplomat here, Captain Marvel would be allowed to make a close combat attack in this situation, which is pretty gross. And then special defense power, super senses, and willpower, which she has on the last 4 clicks. 100 points, and you got to remember the Massive Evil team ability means she's got colossal stamina, so that's going pretty well for her. Overall, a pretty good character for 100 points and pretty sealed awesome. All right, next up, figure number 21, AO. Wakanda and Warrior keyword, Wakanda forever trait. To save Nakia, I will betray Wakanda. Once per game when AO is KO'd, if she has 20 points, do not remove her from the game. Instead, after resolutions, place her in the square she last occupied in her starting click. She is now friendly to your opponent's force and loses the Wakanda keyword and can't use the Wakanda forever trait. She's playable 30 and 20. For a 30-point character, good. For a 20-point character, still pretty good, but sealed good. I'm not going to say competitive good. You generally don't want to pass a figure off like this to your opponent. Generally, I mean, if you can keep her alive, great. And, you know, the first time that she dies, she does trigger that healing thing. So you will be able to heal your characters. So, you know, pretty okay character in the comm slot there. All right, next up. Cherie. Wakanda, ruler, scientist, warrior. Wakanda forever trait. And I saved my best tech for myself, brother. Free, choose another friendly character with a Wakanda keyword and a standard power that character can use. Cherie can use that power until the next turn. So she's got kind of a pick a power. The dial is a little weak on the front, but does turn a little bit more fighty towards the end for 60 points. This is amazing, mainly a sealed mainstay. Just don't be fooled by just because she has big power doesn't it makes her better than she looks, but it doesn't make her great. All right, next up, Malice, who we can get off of Nakia. She's 50 points, and Wakanda Assassin Warrior keywords. Wakanda Never Again is a trait. When Malice is KO'd, this is not Wakanda Forever, so pay attention. When Malice is KO'd, after resolutions deal 1 penetrating damage to an opposing character. If that character has the Wakanda keyword, modify its combat values by -1 this game. This also is trait is Protected Pulse Wave. You got special attack power. I am Dora Milaje no longer. Blades, Claws, Fangs, and Poison. And special damage power. T'Challa is mine. When Malice attacks only characters with the Wakanda keyword, modify attack +2. In the sealed environment, you can get a lot of 12 to 13 attacks off of her, especially with those steel energy in the back end. And she's got that Blades and Poison for the first 3 clicks, and then she's got that damage power for 4 clicks where she's getting that +2 attack. So she's not going to get 13 in the last, but she's got a potential to get 12 attack on a lot of these clicks. Not too bad. Sealed solid, not bad if you have a Nakia. Even better, sorry, if you have a Nakia, because she'll go to click 5, which is her last one, and she could get up to 3 or 1 or 2 clicks of health. So overall, pretty good sealed/casual play. All right, and this is the White Tiger, who that other Kevin Cole Black Panther returned to. Wakanda Detective, Police, and Warrior keywords. Ignores elevated and hindering. Running shot and stealth is a special movement power, which he has on the first 3 clicks of a 5-click 50-point dial. You can get up to the second click if you roll really good, healing him from the Black Panther. PD team ability. I like the other version actually a little better for what it does, but this is not a bad character. I wouldn't weep about having to put him on my team, but he's not super califragilistic awesome. So honestly, play at your behest. The stealth and running shot with the ignore, hindering, and elevated goes a long way for his mobility with the running shot and 6 range. So I think I talked myself into him being a little bit better than I initially thought. All right, next up. Everett K. Ross, Shield, Wakanda, and Politician keyword. I just sold my soul for a pair of pants. Perplex. And then unique modifier. When Everett K. Ross uses Perplex, he may modify the chosen combat value by +2 instead. If he does, at the end of your turn, roll d6 on a 1 to 4, deal Everett K. Ross 1 unavoidable damage. Now, what's important about this is this does not specify non-damage, which is why you have this element of it. And he has this for 4 clicks with 30 points on the shield team ability. So you want to let him increase the range naturally, get the perplex off, on like attack or damage or defense in some situations, and just eat the damage on Ross. If Wakanda or Politician become big, or even Shield at some point become big in competitive play, this guy will be a part of those teams. This is a really good sealed character, just amazing sealed pull for 30 points, and just overall not bad. So yeah, so Everett K. Ross, pretty good overall dude. All right, next up, Black Ant. This is going to be the first character with this rule as a world burns trait. Hydra, Illuminati, Masters of Evil, and Robot keywords. The rule as a world burns trait says when an opposing character rolls for leadership and the result is 1 or 2, remove an action token from Black Ant. One thing that's worth noting about this really causes hesitation on people rolling their leadership. Usually you roll leadership willy-nilly. If one of these guys is on the board, doesn't get so willy-nilly anymore. He's got another trait, Pim Particle Powered Saboteur. Stealth, free, tiny until your next turn. If Black Ant has tiny and an opposing character begins moving while adjacent to him, after resolution you may place him adjacent to that character. And then special defense power, stop, regeneration, pulse wave with a range of 8. When Black Ant uses pulse wave after resolutions, KO him. So he has that on his last click with a pretty decent attack. This is one of those guys you put in your opponent's face and try to make them deal with, because that poison can get pretty nightmarish. The shape change can make him a bit of a pain in the butt to deal with, and just keep him tiny, guys. Take the free action, make him tiny. And the fact that he makes your opponent go, maybe I shouldn't heal, or maybe I shouldn't leadership. There's a lot of potent power in that. Okay, next up, Black Panther, Avengers, Illuminati, Wakanda, ruler, and warrior keywords. Ignores elevated and hindering from movement. He's a bearer of the gauntlet, so for either 5 points, you can give him an infinity gem, or 15 points, you can give him an infinity gauntlet. There are 2 gauntlets and 6 gems. You got lots of options there. He's got the Wakanda Forever trait. He's got special attack power, absorb kinetic energy, Quake. Quake is free, but only if Black Panther is hit since your last turn. He's got the special attack power on the first 4 clicks. He's a wild card at 95 points with Indomitable. This is a really solid sealed dude. Especially if you pull a guy with a gem that you don't want to play somehow or doesn't fit in your team, he might make it, but I would probably use a gem user with their gem in a lot of the cases, situations, which you'll see later. But yeah, wild card if you got some team abilities, use them. Perplex in general, just a pretty solid middle of the ground sealed option. Okay, next up, this is one of my favorite characters in the uncommon slot for sure. And that is Medusa. Avengers, Illuminati, Inhumans, and ruler keyword. Living Locks is her 1 trait. Free, generate a living hair bystander, which is down here, and we'll talk about in a second. This is a dial, 50 points, 2 range. Initially, a pretty okay 50-point character, but let's look at what this living hair is. It's still attached to me is the first part. After resolutions of any action, if living hair is not adjacent to that character that generated it, KO it. An extension of myself is the other one. Living Hair has the printed combat values that can use the standard powers displayed on the dial of the character that generated it. And that part is Protected Pulse Wave because it's got to have stats. The Living Hair is autonomous. It is a free action to make it. So I want you to imagine carrying Medusa on like 1 or 2 turn 1 or 2, and then making a dude with this stats that's able to attack after Medusa is carried. Now I want you to imagine that multiple possible times, and then you start to see the potential on this one. And there's a character that allows us to do that and we'll see later on. But Medusa, there's a competitive team made around Medusa that I desperately want to make work for sure. All right, next up, Eitri. Asgardian and armor keywords, a mastersmith of Nidavellir. Oh, also Medusa, great and sealed. Sorry, just great all round. Mastersmith of Nidavellir. During force construction, you may add 3 equipment objects with different names of 10 points or less to your sideline. At the beginning of the game, an opponent chooses one, and then you choose one of the other 2 to place it in your starting area. The 2 you didn't place stay in your sideline. Then he's got a special damage power. Had this been Dwarven Craftsmanship, you wouldn't be needing any repairs. Free, roll a d6 on a 4 to 6, heal an adjacent friendly character with the armor, robot, or vehicle keyword 1 click. This trait here is super cool. And you got a dude with Perplex for 35 points that comes with that. You can get an object on the first turn in your starting area. I just think of the potential in that and think of how awesome that is, and just manage that as you see fit. I love it. Eitri will. There are some teams that are going to make use of this dude. And it becomes Sophie's choice for your opponent, where they're going to pick one, and it's like, oh, you got Mjolnir and 2 gems. And, you might want the 2 gems for flexibility, because 9 times out of 10, people will pick Mjolnir. So think about that. If you want Eitri to be used and you don't want Mjolnir, there's a team for that guy, for sure. All right. Possessor. Elders of the Universe Cosmic, bearer of an Infinity Gem. Possessor can start with 1 Infinity Gem, so it could be any of the Infinity Gems for 5 points. I sense a greater challenge is his trait. At the beginning of the game, if an opponent... Okay, so this is that. Sense a greater challenge was the same from Voyager, where he'll get a click 0 if your opponent starts or has ID cards, equipment, special training locations. Rune Staff is a special attack power, penetrating psychic blast. When Possessor uses it after resolutions, choose one. Heal Possessor 1 click, or give an action token to a hit character. And then he's got special damage power, Outwit, and then that also comes with free. Choose a target opposing character within range and line of fire until your next turn. That character can't use Protected Outwit, and its powers and abilities lose Protected Outwit. So what's important about that is that helps get around a lot of things, such as stop clicks, power cosmic, and so on. And at the uncommon slot, this is your alternative to the Ultra Chase Thanos. We didn't get him, but the Ultra Chase Thanos, it has a very similar effect, but he's an Ultra Chase. So if you're looking in the budget realm, Possessor is going to be the man who does that for sure. All right, apologies here for that moment of silence, because the character has escaped my grasp, and that is Proxima Midnight. All right, so Proxima Midnight has Black Order, Cabal, minions of Thanos, Assassin, and Cosmic keywords. She can shoot at a base, and she's got the Cull Obsidian. When Proxima Midnight is KO'd by an opposing character's attack, after resolutions, deal damage to that character equal to the last amount of damage dealt to Proxima Midnight. That damage can't be reduced below 1. The Spear of Proxima Midnight, penetrating Psychic Blast. When she uses it, a hit character gains immobile until your next turn. And she has that for the first 3 clicks with damage. She got a lot of beef to her for 100 points. This is a really solid uncommon dial for sealed play. For 100 points, there's nothing wrong with this dial at all. She's definitely not the original Proxima Midnight we all know and love, but this is still a pretty solid dial, and the Cull Obsidian can really come through in a pinch because people will put a lot of effort into trying to kill her, and we'll have to be careful on how they do that. So. And, Psychic Blast with 4 damage that leaves you immobilized. Or 3 damage. Oh, man. All right. So we're hitting in the rare slot. We're getting around the bend there. So we have Okoye. Wakandan, Warrior keyword, Wakanda Forever trait. Then Summon the War Rhinos. Power. Generate a Rhino bystander. Maximum 2 in your starting area. Double power action. Generate 2 War Rhinos. Bystanders, maximum 2 in your starting area. Special defense power, defend your king. Toughness, unique modifier, adjacent friendly characters with the Wakanda keyword, modify defense by +1. I missed that during the thing. This is what a War Rhino looks like. Charge, 10 attack, 17 defense with invulnerable and 3 damage, and trained as a war mount. Carry passenger 1, but only to carry characters with the Wakanda keyword. With a 65-point character with this, with Indomitable. So you double power action first turn, use your leader. You got leadership as well, so you get the extra number of actions out of your turn. And War Rhinos can carry your Wakandans up. It's 65 points, sealed, definite play. Definitely play this character in sealed. In constructed, there are going to be some teams that use her. Casual play for sure. Yeah, tons of fun on your Wakandan teams. Okay, next up. AIM Blue Squad. AIM Avengers, Hydra, Politician, and Scientist keyword. Administration and Research Division. Leadership. If AIM Blue Squad is part of a name theme team, friendly characters with the AIM keyword consider other friendly characters within 3 squares of line of fire to be adjacent while using enhancement, empower, leadership, or support. That's pretty good for 40 points with a single click of probability control with Mastermind on it with 4 range. With the Avengers team ability, not bad. There's some minimal degree of competitive application on your Avengers teams with this guy. But for sure, really good in sealed play. All right, next up, Enigma. AIM, Avengers, Armor, Scientist keyword. You are always there for me. Adjacent friendly characters named Iron Patriot or Rescue. Modify attack +1 if on the same click number as Enigma. Otherwise, they modify defense +1. This is called phasing in English. Phasing teleport, passenger 1, and may carry characters with flight. When Enigma uses phasing teleport and does not carry, after resolutions, you may choose a character whose square she moves through. A character gains immobile until your next turn. Special defense power, a portion of pod. Super sense is impervious, but only if Enigma has a fortified token. At the end of your turn, if Enigma wasn't moved or placed that turn, give her a fortified token. At the beginning of your turn, remove all fortified tokens. And that comes on the first 3 clicks with shape change. So this character is okay at best. I mean, the fact that she can move through characters and make them immobilized does have a fair bit of application in the game of hero clicks. But the point value that you're getting for this is not... It's too fair for competitive play. But still really interesting inclusion if you can fit her into your team. I say her. I make assumptions on sealed. Okay, next up. We have our first gem bearer, or when I say gem bearer, character who is packaged with a gem, and that is Black Bolt, who's got the Illuminati, Inhumans, and Ruler keyword, bearer of the Reality and Space gems. He actually comes with the Reality gem. Black Bolt starts the game with either the Reality gem or the Space gem, ignores hindering for line of fire, and can shoot out of base. This is probably the only guy I've seen so far that ignores hindering for line of fire, worth noting with a lot of those guys with stealth. Special movement power, space between worlds. Sidestep when Black Bolt uses it and has the space gem equipped. After resolutions, you may move all characters within range 1 square. And then he's got a special attack power. Silence is my reality. It will not be yours. Psychic Blast, penetrating Psychic Blast. When Black Bolt uses it and the Reality Gem is equipped, you may instead target any number of opposing characters within range and line of fire. If you do, instead of normal damage, each hit target is dealt his printed damage value. That is insanity. It's why he's 145 points with that power. 150 when you include the gem. With Indomitable and Impervious, that'll be 3 damage that he's dealing with Psychic Blast against a multitude of targets. Is it when he uses Psychic Blast? Yeah. Holy smokes. While not initially super excited for competitive play, he's still really cool. There's a lot of cool effects with that. And for casual and sealed play. All right, and next, the gem that he came with, the Reality Gem, which is the orange one here, which is indestructible. Equip any and unequip drop. This character has an extra lightning bolt, perplex, and telekinesis. Not bad. When this character hits, if the attack roll was 10 or higher, after resolution, you may generate a standard heavy object and then can use telekinesis at no cost. That's cool. So if I hit you with a 10, I can create an object and then shoot it at you if I so desire. Yeah, no, this is a very interesting gem. It's not one of the extra gain is different from other ones that you'll see in a bit. It's not a straight up +1 to a stat. Well, it kind of is and isn't, as it were. But just generally good in its own sort of realm of existence or own realm of reality. Sorry, I'm talking to an empty camera right now. Well, I should be talking about Captain America. Avengers, Illuminati, Pass, and Soldier. He comes packed with the Time Gem. He is the bearer of the Time Gem. So for 5 points, you can start him with it. Puts him at 100. He's got a trait, Sentinel of Liberty. Free, combat reflexes, energy, shield, deflection. Captain America can use the chosen power until your next turn. He's got special movement power. Move through the door. First through the door, last to leave. Charge, running shot, sidestep. What more do you want? He's got special damage power. The ideal that inspires throughout time. Leadership. When Captain America uses it with the Time Gem equipped and succeeds, after resolutions, he may remove an action token from a friendly character. Wow, that's cool. So you can leadership normally and then take an action token off of somebody else. That's really cool. He's 95 points. Indomitable has that trait, of course, with these stats. Indomitable, special leadership's on the first 4 clicks, and he's got the charge, running shot, sidestep on the first 2 clicks. I just like him. I like him a lot. I don't think he's straight out like definitely going to break the game competitive play, but I think there's a team I want to try with him. I'll let you guys know if it works on the Meta Lab at some point. But really, really good in sealed. If you know how your opponent's team works and how things can work. So the Time Gem is a little bit darker orange. Like, it's really hard to tell. This is kind of like a yellowy orange, and this is like a darker orange. So this is actually probably more yellow. Now I think about it. It's hard to see on the camera. The Time Gem gives it's once again, they're all indestructible. Equip any and unequip drop. The effect is modify range +1 and probability control. And when this character attacks, the attack roll is 10 or higher, opposing characters can't use effects to reroll attacks this turn. So if you can make an attack land with a 10 or higher, you're going to stop your opponent's probability control. That's really cool. Holy smokes, I love that. All right, next up we have Namor, figure number 44, Atlantis, Avengers, Cabal, Illuminati, Invaders, Ruler, and Warrior keywords. Bearer of the Power and Time Gems. He comes packaged with the Power Gem. He's got the Rule as the World Burns trait, which we saw on Black Ant earlier. His special movement power, you have Anger, the Prince of Atlantis. Charge Flurry, but only if he has a Time Gem. And My Fury is a Tempest Unleashed. Battle Fury, but when a Namor attacks with the Power Gem equipped and targets only characters with a printed range value of 5 or more, modify his damage +1 and the damage dealt is penetrating. This guy is ruthless in Seal with the amount of damage he's capable of doing. And you're going to see see in a second when you see the power gem, which it comes packaged with, it's most definitely worth using him with it. Very solid pick for sure in sealed. Casual play, not some, you know. But when we see the power gem, you're going to see the potential on that one. And it is like the other Infinity Gems, Indestructible Equip on the and Unequipped Drop. Its effect, modified damage +1. Just keep track of this. Next, Close Combat Expert and Range Combat Expert. When this character hits, if the attack roll was 10 or higher, after resolutions deal the target a 1 penetrating damage. Now imagine that's a critical hit. So you got +1 damage from the power gem, you get an additional damage from the critical hit, and then because the critical hit is a 10 or higher, you got another penetrating damage. In addition to the fact that this guy's already packing Close Combat Expert and Range Combat Expert, and we talk about Namor, who we just had, who could possibly deal extra damage to characters with range of 5 or more. That's so much damage. Oh my gosh, it's huge amounts of damage. Massively powerful gem. Not subtle in the least, though. It's one of your less finesse sort of items. All right, next up we have figure number 45, Spider-Man, Avengers Pro Registration, Spider-Man Family, Stark Industries, Armor, Reporter, and Scientist keyword. I swear, in these higher rarities, they're going high on the on the keywords. 3 Waldos is his first trait, or his trait, first trait. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose 1. Flurry, Giant Reach 2, or Combat Reflexes and Stealth, or shoot out of base and 3 targets. Spider-Man can use the chosen effects until you choose again. Iron Spider Senses, Super, which gives him traded super senses with protected outwit. Special movement power, what's he going to do? Fly. Leap Climb, when Spider-Man uses it after resolutions, he may give it close at no cost. This guy is unstoppably brutal when it comes to sealed play, because you can play him at 145. You get those 3 squares of full movement where you can use Flurry and Giant Reach. In addition to the fact that he's traded with super senses and shape change, which gives him some evasion, and he's a little bit tough on the invulnerability side, and he's a wild card. All things considered, this Spider-Man is actually really, really strong, and has got a lot of potential for large amounts of damage all up front. Very few things can survive that initial onslaught of being able to move 9 squares and attack twice at 4 damage. As far as casual and competitive play, he's kind of okay. Alright, next up, Corvus Glaive, Black Order, Cabal, Minions of Thanos, Assassin, and Cosmic keywords. Cull Obsidian trait, which we saw on Proxima Midnight. Come to me, my new Glaive. Super Strength. This is a special attack power, which he has late dial, along with his special defense power. Super Strength, free. Destroy a piece of blocking terrain within 3 squares and roll d6. On a 1 to 4, generate a light object. On a 5 to 6, generate a heavy object. Now, noting that, of course, even though the object or the wall that you're breaking is 3 squares away, Corvus Glaive is still generating it, which means it comes next to him. When Corvus Glaive makes a close attack, instead of a normal damage, you may roll a d6 and deal damage equal to the result +1 if using a light object, or result +2 if using a heavy object. Special defense, combat reflexes, and regeneration as free, but only if holding an object. When Corvus Glaive uses regeneration after resolutions, KO the held object. In sealed, this guy is really hard to take down as long as you've got maps with blocking terrain nearby. And he's beastly. Like, look at those stats with leadership, 90 points, indomitable. He's not subtle, but that's fine because he's really hard to actually finish off towards the end of the game. All right, wrapping up the rares, we have Traitor, Elders of the Universe, Cosmic keyword, bearer of an Infinity Gem. You can give him just any old Infinity Gem. He's got the I Sense a Greater Challenge, which could put him on click 0, which looks like that. He's power cosmic, of course. Special attack. Of course, I say. Let's make a trade. Free. Choose an equipped character, friendly or opposing within 3 squares in line of fire. If Traitor is equipped and both equipments have equip any, those equipments are now equipped to the other character. There's potential for this guy in competitive play if equipment really starts to take over. But the problem I see with him is that outside of that, he's just Perplexer, and depending on what you're stealing from characters, if you're stealing it from another character to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? To disable them, make sure whatever you're disabling, Traitor can make use of. Is that once per? Well, you can also actually, now that I think about it, start a little bit of a trade down where a Traitor gets an item, then you pass that item, or Traitor gets an item from an opponent, then you take that opponent's item and put it on a character that would work for you. So, yeah, okay, there's some potential in there. I didn't think about the daisy chaining of it over turns. Okay, we're moving into super rares. First one we got Iron Man. We got this from trading near pre-release. Avengers, Illuminati, Armor, and Scientist, bearer of the Space and Reality Gems. He comes packaged with the space of those. For 5 points, you can get either the Space or Reality Gem. Threat Analysis, Energy Explosion. When Iron Man uses it with the Space Gem equipped, all other characters within 2 squares and line of fire of the original target become targets instead, and damage dealt can't be reduced below 1. He's got a special defense power. I seriously do not know how you fell for that. Toughness. When Iron Man would be targeted by a range attack while he has the reality gem equipped, roll a d6 on a 5 or 6. You may instead choose another character, friendly or opposing, within range and line of fire of the attacker, and they become the target of the attack, even if they would normally otherwise be an illegal target. So if you have the reality gem on him, that's pretty nuts on the last, but it is only on the last 3 clicks. The energy explosion, which you get on him in sealed, 150 points for some really massive ranged energy explosion. But he is also, like, as far as sealed is concerned, this guy is a strong character. And as far as constructed is concerned, he's a little softer on the uptake, but all things considered, not bad. All right, next up, figure number 54, Loki, Asgardian, Cabal, Deity, and Mystical Keywords. Bear the Infinity Sword, which allows him to equip for 5 points any Infinity Gem. He comes packaged with a Mind Gem. And if you paid 15 points, you can instead start with an Infinity Gauntlet. I guess that makes the Infinity Gauntlet... the Gauntlet is what its owner wants it to be. I'll have them chasing Figments and Shadows. Gives him traded Shape Change and Stealth. When Loki uses Shape Change with the Mind Gem equipped and succeeds, modify the attacking character's combat values by -1 until your next turn. So I shape change, and now the next guy you're going to have to hit is going to be harder to hit in the next place. The Infinity Sword is a special attack power. Blades, Claws, Fangs. When Loki uses it and hits, if the attack roll was 10 or higher, and the Blades, Claws, Fangs roll was 5 or 6, after resolutions, your action total is +1 this turn, and choose a friendly character. Remove all action tokens from the chosen character. That character may be given an additional costed action this turn. That is a really hard set of situations to pull off. So don't count on that happening, but if it does happen, awesome. That's totally gnarly. But that generally said, as far as a sealed piece is concerned, he's pretty cool. There is some constructed functionality, possibly with a gauntlet. We don't have any of them on hand, but I have seen them and they seem pretty cool. The only problem I have with Loki is that he does not have any sort of source of willpower. So that means this dial that you're paying for, he doesn't come with Indomitable or anything like that, is a little bit iffy for me. But Mystic's team ability to go with this, and he's really hard to get your hands on, especially when you consider he's got Shape Change traded at the high point value. He's got a couple of clicks of super senses that come with probability control and really high defenses. He's a pretty gnarly dude that's going to wreck your casual games, or wreck in casual games, though he's still super soft. And yeah, so Loki's pretty cool. And let's talk about his gem, the Mind Gem, which it equips like all the others and unequips like them. Its effect, modify attack +1. It gives mind control and incapacitate, and when this character hits, if the attack roll was 10 or higher, after resolutions you can use mind control at no cost. And it also says that can repeat if you keep hitting a 10 or higher. Don't expect that to happen unless you get a really good series of rolls, but subsequently, that's a really cool effect, and the +1 attack on its own is worth it in a lot of characters' cases. Though for 10 points, you know, there's better ways of getting increased attacks. The addition of the mind control and incapacitate really add to it. So pretty cool gem, and there's going to be some teams that make effective use of that for sure. All right, next up, Puppy, Lockjaw, Inhumans, Pet, Avengers, and Animal Cubes. He's so cute. Look, he's a good dog. Pet the dog. You always got to pet the dog. Dimensional Passage. We got this one trading at our pre-release. We did not pull it in our WizKids provided brick. Dimensional Passage. Phasing Teleport. Passenger 4 may carry characters with flight. When Lockjaw carries one or more characters and they don't all share a keyword with Lockjaw, after resolutions deal him 1 unavoidable damage. So carry Inhumans, carry Pet Avengers, and carry animals with him. He Won't Let Go is his special attack power. Incapacitate. At the end of your turn, if Lockjaw wasn't moved or placed this turn, he can use Incapacitate at no cost. And he's got a special defense power, Instinctive Jump. Stop. When this click is revealed after resolutions, an opposing opponent must place Lockjaw at least 5 squares away from his current square. When they do, you may place adjacent to Lockjaw all friendly characters that were adjacent to him before being placed. And then this is so he has that on his last click. He's got a good solid 6 clicks of health with that stop click in there for 40 points and can carry dudes. Lockjaws are always super tough, and I love them for it. He's indomitable, which for 40 points, this number of clicks, and the fact that he can carry, and he'll be able to carry multiple turns in return, is going to be great. And as we discussed, imagine the idea of a good dog carrying a good lady. So yeah, Lockjaw's got a place somewhere in competitive play. All right, next up, Taskmaster. Agency X, Cabal, Hydra, Initiative, Assassin, and Martial Arts keywords. Just because you hired me doesn't make us friends is his first trait. Taskmaster doesn't count against theme teams. I memorized moves from dozens of chumps. Take your best shot. Free, choose 2, charge, flurry, running shot, blaze claws, fangs, incapacitate, penetrating psychic blasts, precision strike, combat reflexes, energy shield deflection, close combat expert, exploit weakness, range combat expert. Taskmaster can use his chosen powers until your next turn. This turn, characters targeted by Taskmaster with an attack can't use the chosen powers until your next turn. Notice it says targeted, not hit. That's an important element. He's got that dial at 100 points, and he is a wild card. There could very well be a team that makes effective use of Taskmaster in competitive play. It's not obvious, but it's there somewhere. In addition to which, I think Taskmaster is going to be great in a lot of my casual games, as part of my X-Men teams, as part of my Avengers teams, as part of... You get where I'm going with that one. All right, next up. Last of the super wizard we got here, the Grand Master. Elders of the Universe, Lethal Legion, Cosmic Keywords, Bearer of the Mind Gem, so you can start with the Mind Gem, which comes with Loki. I sense a greater challenge, so we know that one, which gives him a click 0, which is right there. It's a little better with the impervious over invulnerability and gives you that extra click prop. 85 points for him. Wagering on the Contest of Champions, you say. Sidestep. Once per turn, when an opposing character within range of line of fire attacks, before the attack roll, you may guess whether or not the attack will hit at least one target. If you do, that attack roll can't be re-rolled. If you chose correctly, after resolutions, deal the attacking character 1 penetrating damage and heal Grandmaster 1 click. If you're wrong, heal the attacking character 1 click and deal Grandmaster 1 unavoidable damage. It's a hard power to use. It's a fun power to use. This guy's going to be super awesome in really big games with lots of players, like Battle Royales and stuff like that. He's not going to be breaking the game anytime soon unless you're looking at how opponents are attacking and making, they're just going to be making massive attacks that definitely are going to hit. You can probably alleviate some of the damage, you're going to take all the damage on the character being targeted, but you get a little bit back on Grandmaster. So, very okay character, very fun character. Not breaking the competitive game, that's for sure. All right, so a little treat from our pre-release event. It's Kovac. She's got Hydra, Shield, Thunderbolts, and Cosmic. How is she Hydra and Thunderbolts and that happy? Hi, I'm Kovac is her trait. Plus 15 points. She starts the game with any equipped Cosmic Cube. She comes with one of them. Rewrite Affiliations is her next trait. Free, choose a friendly character and an opposing character with printed team abilities. Those characters can use the team abilities printed on the other characters instead of their own printed team abilities until your next turn. So they have Power Cosmic. You got Avengers. Now your Avenger has Power Cosmic and their Power Cosmic guy has Avengers. Rewrite history. Power. Once per game, choose an adjacent friendly character on their starting click and a character on your sideline with the same name as the chosen character. If the first character is equal or more points than the second, replace the first character with the second on the starting line. That character can't have the same set symbol. So if you've got a better version of a character like a Hulk or a Cyclops or a Captain America that you think would better suit the game than what they have right now, that would be where you use that power. There's a lot of potential on that one, for sure. And then do you want to play as her special damage power, perplex, probability control, shape change? Kovac is an unassuming 100 points. In sealed, she was really good, especially with the Cosmic Cube she came packaged with. And 8 range mind control goes a long way. But she is something that makes the rest of your team better. When I played Kovac, she was on a team with a Medusa, an Okoye, an Io, and Nakia. And, I had to rely on the rest of the team to do most of the damage while Kovac was both making sure they hit for the damage and possibly doing more with Perplex, etc. And then she was also, Kovac was mind controlling threats away from my opponent whenever I could possibly do it. So all things considered, Kovac is unassuming in her awesome, and she is just generally pretty gnarly for sealed, not going to make a lot of noise in constructed play. All right, next up we have the Cosmic Cube. It's a 30-point object, which is indestructible, equip any, and unequip drop. Its effect is free. Choose one. Place his character up to 3 squares away from his current square, or until your next turn, ignore hindering and elevated terrain for line of fire, modify range +2, or give an action token to an adjacent opposing character. If you can't, deal them 1 penetrating damage. While not fantastic for 30 points, it's still, there's a lot of effect going on there. If you can get either Kovac or the Red Skull to equip it for 15 points, it's going to be a little bit more potent. But that said, it's a pretty good object if you can find the right character for it. The 30 points might be worth it if you can find that character that just, when you put it on there, just fundamentally breaks everything. So Cosmic Cube is good. I just, you know, it's better if you're only paying 15 points for it. All right, and last but not least, the Black Panther. This is a 100,000 BC character. Avengers, Wakanda, animal, deity, past warrior. The Panther God is his first trait. He ignores elevated and hindering for movement. Stealth. Opposing lines of fire can't be drawn to Black Panther if he occupies printed hindering terrain, protected pulse wave. So you can't, there's no getting around that. It's really hard to draw a line of fire to them if there's any hindering terrain that he's occupying. Before humans, top food chain. Blades, claws, fangs. Opposing characters within 3 squares can't use blades, claws, fangs. And then Ancient Incarnation, Black Panther. When another friendly character named Black Panther hits after resolutions, remove an action token from this character. One of the key notes about Black Panther is that he's probably better as 2 of them. He's super capable on his own. If you can get an object that gives him a little bit of shape change, get a little bit more evasion out of him. Imagine having 2 of these guys on the board. One hits, the other removes an action token. The other hits, the other removes an action token, and it can go on and on and on. He's hard to get your hands on him, and he's just generally really, really potently strong. It's a shame that I have to say you use 2 of them because he's a chase. He's super hard to get your hands on. But, you know, if you have other Black Panthers as well that you can make effective use of and can consistently hit with, this Black Panther shines a little bit harder. Overall, really good version of Black Panther, and is probably going to make some level of an impact in competitive play. Okay, so Black Panther and the Illuminati is a pretty exciting set, and it's awesome to take a look at what they provided us with in the set. It's looking really good for both casual, competitive, and even the sealed play itself is actually super awesome. So once again, thank you guys for over at WizKids. Thank you guys over at the Comic Book Warehouse. It's been an awesome introduction into the set, and I can't wait to get even more of this stuff as we have more coming in on this release week. So check out your stores this Wednesday, June 5th? I'm reading it, okay. And get your stuff, including the awesome action and dice tokens, which are on the back and have some of the bystanders that we took a look at in this preview. Again, thank you guys very much. Have a good one.